I love physics. But one issue, it was immensely difficult. I mean, seriously, when did me standing on my own 2 feet involve gravity, which strangely on Earth is negative 9.8, and all these other really complex topics that we will never use in life, at least for some of us? Well, because of these topics, I struggled mightily in physics. But thankfully, after enough toil and enough practice problems, I passed one of the hardest subjects that humanity has ever come across. But this process of persevering is exactly what reminded me of the quotation that I received today by Winston Churchill. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It's the courage to continue that counts. The quotation explains is that while success and losses may be happy and may hurt, it's the courage that continues. It's the courage to continue through all adversity that separates the people who fail and people who may become successful. And today, we'll examine that through the examples of Andoni Schultz, Jimmy Butler, and Bethany Hamilton. Now, for many of us that are high schoolers, we've all dealt with a lot of stress. From stressing about getting an A in a hard AP class to those laborious essays that many of us are currently writing. But someone who felt all of our stress, struggles, and tears at the most immense level was that of Andoni Schultz, who not only dealt with the pressure of going to a prestigious school, but was also genetically diagnosed with brain cancer. We all know how much prestigious universities expect out of their students. But unfortunately, brain cancer meant that Andoni Schultz had a harder time in understanding what he was learning and also getting his work done on time. But regardless of the adversity, regardless of how his body failed him or where his body was successful, the only thing that mattered to Andoni Schultz was his ability to continue going. He kept pursuing his dream, even if it meant studying for hours and hours of extra time than the normal student would. Thanks to that toil, he's headed off to Notre Dame University. And the courage that he has had to continue has allowed him to go to a top 20 school in the US, showing us all that while success may make us happy and failure can discourage us, it's the courage to continue going that truly makes us successful. Now, many of us in this room not only deal with mental stress, but also physical discomfort. We're all expected to get 8 hours of sleep, but due to our teachers and bosses, we probably only get like 4. But that's exactly what happened to Jimmy Butler, who is a basketball player that at the age of 14 got kicked out of his house by his mother, who told him, "I don't like the look of you, you gotta go," which is absolutely appalling for a mother to say, putting him through one of the most harrowing childhoods that one could possibly imagine. But despite not having a basketball coach, or a mom, or a roof over his head, Jimmy Butler still had the ability to continue. He kept pursuing his basketball dream, even if it meant teaching himself the fundamentals for extra time so he could cultivate his skills as a basketball player. Today, he has successfully made it to the National Basketball Association, where he has made the All-Star team, led the 8th-seeded Miami Heat last year to the NBA Finals, and showed us all specifically that at the end of the day, when we have the number one strength of resilience, it's that strength that changes everything. Now, finally, we've all have dealt with physical discrimination. We've all heard the quotations too big, too small, too thin, and too thick. Well, someone who dealt with that to another immense level was Bethany Hamilton. You probably know Bethany Hamilton as a professional surfer. But unfortunately, at the age of 14, this was almost eviscerated because a great white shark tore one of her arms off, not only giving her the fear of going back into the ocean, but it seemed impossible to balance on the surfboard with one arm. However, Bethany Hamilton still had the courage to continue going. She still had the courage to continue pursuing professional surfing, even if it meant balancing on the surfboard with one arm. Thanks to her ability to persevere and continue, she not only made professional surfing, but placed first in the country for an entire year. And so, when we return to today's quotation by Winston Churchill, success is not final, failure is not fatal. It's the courage to continue that truly counts. We can clearly see that many of us in pursuing our ambitions will have difficulty. We might have a learning disability. We might not have a roof over our heads. We might have to do something without an arm. But as Sir Isaac Newton acknowledged, no matter what force pushes against us, as long as we continue accelerating, our results will be just like the apple that fell on his head. A result that is always something sweet. Thank you.